Here we are, second part of our grammar experience in verbals. And so today we're going to talk about participles. And we're on lesson 2 of chapter 7, beginning on page 172. A participle is a verb form that acts as an adjective. A participial phrase consists of a participle along with its modifiers and complements. Like other adjectives, participles and participial phrases can modify nouns and pronouns. So I'm on page 172 at the top of the page at the first example. A tired hiker woke a sleeping bear. Tired and sleeping are both participles in this sentence. And tired is telling you about the hiker, and sleeping is telling you about the bear. Present and past participles, it's easy as whether it ends in an ed or an ing. If it ends in ing, it's present. If it ends in ed, it's past. A present participle always ends in ing. Growling, the bear rose from his slumber. Growling is telling you about the bear. The past participle of a regular verb ends in ed. Past participles of irregular verbs, such as freeze, are formed in a variety of ways. The terrified traveler wanted to run. Terrified is a past participle telling you about the traveler. Frozen by fear, he was grateful that the bear only licked him. Frozen by fear. Frozen is telling you about the traveler, he, in this sentence. A word that ends in ing may be a gerund, a participle, or part of a verb phrase. Here's how you can tell the difference. Again, bottom of page 172, we have another one of those tables where you're going to want to make sure that you come back to as you're doing your work. Gerund, for the example, we were annoyed by the moths fluttering. Fluttering in this case ends in ing. Well, how do you know if it's a gerund or if it's a participle? If you can replace the word fluttering by a noun. For example, we were annoyed by the moths' antennae. Antennae is a noun, and it would make sense to put that in there for fluttering. We were annoyed by the moths' wings. Wings is a noun. You could replace fluttering with wings. Participle. The moth's fluttering wings were white. In this case, fluttering, present participle, is describing wings. So you could replace it with an adjective. The moth's fast wings. The moth's, I don't know, the moth's, the moth's white wings were fluttering. You could switch around those adjectives. So if it ends in ing and acts like an adjective, that makes it a participle. Next, present participle of a verb. The moth was fluttering in the breeze. Moth was fluttering. It's always preceded by a helping verb. Was fluttering, is fluttering, will be fluttering. So those are helping verbs that come in front, which decide and determine that it's a present participle of a verb. It's got to have a helping verb in front of it. Up at the top of page 173, it's going to go over why it matters in writing. So follow along with me as I read that. If your descriptive writing seems dull, use participles to liven up your sentences. Notice how strongly the participles in the following sentence convey sounds and actions. In the literary model here by titled Dirk the Protector by Gary Paulson, there was a snarling growl that seemed to come from the bowels of the earth, followed by the sound of ripping cloth, screams, and then the fading slap of footsteps running away. So you can see there where the description in the writing pops out and the participles liven up the action. Let's go to page 173, and you're going to determine whether or not each verbal is a gerund or a participle, okay? Number 1, many TV commercials feature acting animals. So the first thing I see is an ing word. And I think, is that a gerund or is it a participle? Well, I look at the word coming after acting and it's animals. So I know acting is being used like an adjective there. And so I know that it's a participle. Number 2, there are bell-ringing turkeys and typing chickens. What kind of turkeys? Bell-ringing. And what kind of chickens? Typing. Those are acting as adjectives, so those are both participles. Number 3, training any type of animal requires patience. The word that stands out right away is the ing word. It's training. And in this sentence, it's acting like the subject of the entire sentence. Therefore, it's a gerund. Training any type of animal requires patience. What requires patience? The training. Number 4, have you seen the dog food commercial that shows a dog chasing a chuck wagon? So here, number 4, we're talking about chasing. That's your ing word. And it is telling you about the dog. What's the dog doing? He's chasing. That's a participle. Number 5, the trainer aroused yearning in the dog by hiding a squeaky toy in a closet. I see 2 ing words there. I see yearning and I see hiding. And trainer aroused, the DO. The DO is receiving the action of the arousal. So here, yearning is the direct object. What's being aroused? Yearning. And then by hiding, in this case, hiding follows a preposition. The word by is a preposition. So hiding in this case is an object of a preposition. Let's go over to these worksheets here. And I have a participle is a verb form that acts as an adjective. It modifies a noun or a pronoun. There are 2 kinds of participle, present and past. The present participle always ends in ing. A cheering crowd distracts him. Cheering modifies crowd, and it's got an ing, so it's present. The past participle of a regular verb ends in ed. For irregular verbs such as steal, the past participle has a different ending, okay? So because it is an irregular form. Stunned, she didn't know what to say. Stunned is the regular form, the past tense, ed. Stunned, she didn't know what to say. Stunned is describing she. The stolen diamond, here it's an irregular verb, stolen. The stolen diamond's telling you about diamond was worth millions, so it's a past participle. Gerunds, participles, and verbs all end in ing. Here's how you can tell the difference. If it's a gerund, it could be replaced by a noun. Participle, the fiddling grasshopper, could be replaced by an adjective. The hungry grasshopper, the fast grasshopper, the dead grasshopper did no work. As a verb, he was fiddling, it's got a helping verb in front, always used as a helping verb. So make sure you look back at page 172 for those little reminders of how to tell a difference. Let's look here. Write participle or gerund to identify the bold-faced verbal in each sentence. Number 1, the disappointed crow went hungry that day. Disappointed is telling you about crow. So we know in this case, it's a participle. The boasting hare, it's telling you about hair. It's describing hair. So we know it's a participle because it's acting like an adjective. Number 3, removing a bone from the wolf's throat was probably foolhardy. Removing is a gerund that's part of this entire gerund phrase that's acting as the subject of the sentence. So we know in that case, it's a gerund. Number 4, the grasshopper laughed at the hardworking ant. Hardworking is telling us about ant, and so it's acting as an adjective. It ends in ing, so we know it's a present participle. So here, participle. Number 5, after barely escaping the cat, the country mouse returned to the farm. Here we go. Mouse is the subject. What did the mouse do? Return. That's our verb. Here, after barely escaping, this is a preposition. So this is an object of the preposition, meaning it's a noun of some sort. So escaping in this case acts as a gerund. Number 6, the frightened rabbits in turn frightened the frogs. Frightened ends in ed. We know it's a participle. It's a past participle because it ends in ed, and it's acting like an adjective describing rabbits. So number 6 is participle. Number 7, arguing with the wolf was stupid. What was stupid? Arguing with the wolf. Our gerund is arguing, and it acts as the subject of the sentence, which is a type of noun, so it's a gerund. Number 8, the fox tried to escape by running into the woods. In this case, it's an ing, and it's acting as a form of a noun because it's the object of the preposition. By is our preposition. This is acting as an object of a preposition, which is a type of noun, so therefore we know it is a gerund. Number 9, the choking wolf. Here's my ing word. That kind of tips me off. It's telling me about wolf, which means it's acting like an adjective, so I know that it is a participle. And it's ending in ing, so we know it's present. Number 10, the crane didn't get the promised reward. Here's my little tip-off. It's got an ed. I know it's a participle. It's going to be past because it ends in ed, and it's telling you about what kind of reward that is a participle. All right. Let's do 5 more, and then I'll give you your homework. The characters in Aesop fables are talking animals. Talking's telling you about animals, so we know in this case it's a participle. Reported to be a slave in classic Greek times. Actually, all of these are participles, but they want us to, underline the word that each boldface participle modifies. So we would underline animals. That's what's being modified. Reported to be a slave in classical Greek times, Aesop was a great storyteller. Reported is our participle. It's in bold, and it's telling us about Aesop. So our answer for that one would be Aesop. 1 was animals, 2 is Aesop, because they just want us to tell us which word's being modified. Number 3, presenting moral lessons. Aesop's fables guide children to right actions. So you can ask yourself a question. What are moral lessons being presented by? How are they being shared? Well, they're through the fables. Presenting moral lessons is describing fables. So number 3 is fables. Number 4, the tales retold for generations still entertain us. Here is past tense. That's our participle, and it's telling us about tales. Number 5, we laugh at yet learn from the animals acting like humans. Who or what is acting? The animals. So our answer for number 5 is animals. Now, what I'd like you to do for your assignment is I'd like you to go to the back of the book and do lesson 2. So you're going to do 7-2, lesson 7-2, page 608. The instructions are on page 607. And you're going to do numbers 1 through 10. So page 608, numbers 1 through 10, and the instructions tell you to write the participles in each sentence, in these sentences, identifying each as present or past, and then tell the noun or the pronoun that's being modified. So let's do an example for one. I'll just go right here and do it right here. Let's do your example number 1. Indian Red was a horse living in Ontario. So my participle is living, okay? And that is a present participle, and it's telling me about horse. So that's how you want to do that. Living is my present participle. It's telling me about horse. Let's do one more. Number 2. Walking along a road one night, he stopped suddenly. So what's our participle? It's walking. And it ends in ing, so that tells us it's a present participle. And it's telling us about who or what was walking, and it is he. So I hope that helps you with the numbers 1 through 10. Your assignment, like I said, is page 608, lesson 7-2, numbers 1 through 10, following the format given in 1 and 2. Have a great day.